the door. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk, and I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. We are rejoined today by Mr. Mike Fasano and Mr. Tim Coet. Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
If you caught the prior episode, we were talking all about the elimination of property taxes and some other alternatives and what would happen if it got eliminated and just the ins and the outs of all that. It was a really great show. And then we said we were going to do another show talking about some of the government scams that we see.
Yes.
And
they're not government scams.
Well, they look like they are.
They look like they
look
are.
like they are.
Scammers using government as
Government
leverage.
doesn't scam people.
Yeah.
If you believe that, I wrote a bridge to sell you.
You're right. I should have. Thank you for correcting my rephrase there. So, but it was interesting because Adelisa, which is producing the show today, was saying, "Hey, I just got this text at 11 o'clock this morning, so I'm gonna read it to you."
Please do.
So first and foremost, Tim, thank you for looking this up. What I noticed was the country code on it right away, plus 91, which is India. So it's coming from India. You're not getting a text from your local government coming at a plus 91 instead of 011 from India. But it says, the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, has officially notified us that the penalty will take effect on December 31st. Our records show that you still have an outstanding traffic fine as of today. According to Florida Administrative Code 16C-16.003, if you fail to pay the fine by December 31st, 2025, we will take the following actions. Report this fine to the state DMV violation record database. Suspend your vehicle registration starting December 31st. Temporarily suspend your driver's license for 30 days. Please go to a toll booth to pay a 35% service fee. You may face legal action if your credit score may be negatively affected. This is what it says. So it's kind of like a little hodgepodge.
Yeah.
It looks scary though, right?
Yes.
Make payment immediately. And then it's got these,
scam link.
FL, HS, MU, dot. Look at all the stuff after that. It's nothing related to the government.
No.
Please pay before the penalty takes effect to avoid license suspension and other legal disputes.
Yeah.
So at least on the bottom it says report junk. Probably not a bad idea.
Right. I think all text it allows you because that's your phone asking you if you want to
Yeah.
report it as a junk. Yeah.
Well, so that's the thing. And this stuff looks really official.
It does.
I mean, so we'll talk about some of the scams. We'll probably bebop all over the place, but that's okay.
It's fine.
One of the ones that I see all the time, and I tell people this at every closing that I attend, I'm like, you do not have to pay for your deed.
Oh,
That's
You're
correct.
going to get a copy of your deed automatically. It will be public record. You do not have to pay for it. It's from some place in Tallahassee.
And if you lose your deed,
it's not a big deal.
Just go to the clerk of the court and they'll give it to you for $10, $15. Or just go on their website and you can print a copy of it, And that's one of the biggest scams going. And sadly, we've known or hear of people who actually send this company $50, $100, whatever it is.
It looks official.
To get a deed. That they can easily get for practically nothing.
Yeah, it's from Tallahassee. It looks official.
Yep.
I tell my clients, if anyone's asking you for money after closing, call me first.
That's good.
Call me first. I'll help you figure out if it's real because it probably isn't.
Yeah, you get a handful of those. It's not just one.
Yeah.
I remember when we closed, I got 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll print your deed for you.
Can I throw this out?
Well, it doesn't even say that. Like it's worded in a way that
comes with a form
it
and
looks like you have to do it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's got official seals on it and whatnot.
Yeah.
If I may tell you about a great program that our clerk of the court offers.
Oh, good. This is the next one I want to talk about.
This is a great program. We get people concerned about, they see these things on TV, these commercials of people filing a deed on your home and then taking it, then going and get a loan on your home, never making any payments, and you get a foreclosure notice. And
this is real.
This is real. It happens. But you can protect yourself at no charge, by going to the Pasco County Clerk of Court's website. This is Nikki Alvarez-Sals, who is one of the best clerks in the state. And there you sign up. I signed up for free. You sign up for alerts. Anytime anything is filed in your name at the clerk's office, you're going to get notified. Yep. And it's happened to me a couple of times, but that's because I did buy a home or I bought a villa, and those are the deeds that are being filed. So I knew that was that. But if you get something where you have done nothing that should have been filed with the clerk of the courts, and you get a notification, you need to take action immediately. And you can take action immediately. This is what, and it's free, ladies and gentlemen.
What should someone do? Call Nikki Soul's office right away?
Well,
or?
I would, if somebody, this is my opinion, I would immediately go to her office and find out what was filed.
Yeah.
You've got to find out what was filed. And if it's a deed that was signed by you and you never signed it, you need to go immediately to the sheriff's department or your local law enforcement agency and tell them this is a fraudulent deed.
I'd probably retain an attorney right away.
You want to do that
matter.
as well.
Yep.
So there's 3 things. You want to get a copy of it, go to the clerk's office. They'll print a copy of what it is. Or you can possibly find it online through the clerk's website. Go to the sheriff's department or law enforcement, go get an attorney. But you've got to file a complaint. So you have that complaint showing that this was filed fraudulently.
So we talk about this all the time with our title partner, Jenny Restrepo, because she's really good at it.
Very good.
She's caught some of these scammers. We've caught some of these scammers. Happens a lot on vacant land.
Yes.
We see that a lot. There was a gentleman that called that my team had set up an appointment for me, and I had we have software we can kind of look people up and look up numbers, and I was like, something doesn't feel right about this. There's some stuff off in some of the questions I'm asking him. So I went and found the real person that actually owned the property and told him his attorney actually filed liens, like judgments against the property so that it couldn't transfer, which is a strategy.
Right.
It's a strategy. It's his judgment, right? So he can release it. But it was because he said this was like the 3rd time it had they were trying to do it.
Yeah.
But the deed fraud is real.
Yep.
And the problem is there's still not enough case law on the books for them to prosecute. They've been prosecuting them in other ways, but there's no actual title deed fraud statute.
Yeah.
It's not in case law yet. Yeah, they have to prosecute them on like scheme to defraud and other ways.
Out of state. Many of these people from out of state anyway, who just mail the deed in and have it filed on the property. So, but you're absolutely right. This is real. This is a real fraud, a real human being. So I would highly recommend no charge to sign up for this fraud prevention notification by the clerk's office.
Some of the things they've done is they've now required 2 witnesses for every deed transfer. They want their addresses. They want their printed names. So they're requiring additional stuff, which is good.
Right.
I don't know if it's foolproof.
To me,
but
this is just my opinion. The person on the deed right now is the person who owns the home. It should be notarized, the new deed, but the notary should make sure that it's the person who is selling the home, that they know it's the person whose signature is on there.
The problem is it's the scammers that are doing it. The whole thing is fake.
Gotcha.
So the notary seal is fake. The signatures are fake. The witness are fake.
Okay.
Everything is fake.
They're faking
about
the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, they even have fake IDs and they go out and get mortgages. It's pretty profound. If you haven't heard any of the shows before, Mike, that we talk about with Jenny, it's pretty in depth. But I'm so glad that they put that into place. And I think all of them have all the.
I think all the clerks. I think maybe the clerks may have all of them. I can't speak for them, but I can speak for our clerk who put it in place. And she's a great gal. She and her staff do a wonderful job. And we in fact put something out in our annual tax notice.
We do.
Last year, maybe this year as well.
It's been multiple years now.
It's right. Telling people of how you can protect
Take advantage of the program.
Good.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
So those are big ones that are going on right now. What other type of fraud are you guys seeing in your office? I'm sure you got a lot.
Well, you just mentioned one of these scams, and this is where it scares a person, where it's almost telling them, if you don't do it now, if you don't do it within the next hour, you're going to have your license suspended or your automobile registration suspended. This is where people need to know, if someone's telling you via text that it has to be done immediately, right off the bat, you know that it's a scam.
Right.
One, the state is not going to, state nor us, the tax collector, is going to send you a message like that. It would come through the mail, and we don't tell people that go to a toll
booth, I think is what was on there.
Yeah.
we don't
I don't think they have those in Florida anymore.
Well, they're getting better at their language, but when some of those little things don't add up, at the end,
tips you off.
we tell people, we do our best to let them know. And again, we did a video just the other day that's now on our website, pascotaxes.com. It's about a 5-minute video, Tim?
Something like that, a little bit shy of 5.
That tells people about this scam and please to ignore it. And it gives them steps of, what to look for.
Yep.
first of all, what you want to do is, if they give you a website or a link, highlight that. And I will tell you that sometimes it'll go directly to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicle, and it's great. It'll say, "This is a scam.
This is a scam.
This is a scam." And so everyone is trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
But I get unfortunately some seniors that come in. I had a gentleman when I was gatekeeping at Wesley Chapel a few weeks ago, absolutely scared to death that his license was going to be suspended. It took me quite a while before he finally accepted that it was a scam. He wanted to pay somebody
to make sure it wasn't a scam.
Yeah, that his license wasn't going to be suspended, and it's not just. First, they started out, with one thing. Now they started. These guys from India and other foreign countries, Russia, China, wherever, they come up with a different scam every week.
Yeah,
and it's important, people, to ignore this stuff because you're never going to get a text from the Department of Motor Vehicle in Florida or from our office. Never.
Another huge one is the property scams. I was talking with the squatters. I was talking to one of my friends that works at a big management company in the area, and they have that all the time, the unauthorized occupants, and they put into law, and you probably know more about it than I do, but they put into law, was it last year or this year?
Last year.
About the squatters, getting rid of the squatters' rights, so to speak.
In fact, really, in Florida, I want to be careful, but pretty much, and Tim, correct me, squatters don't have any rights left in Florida.
Thank goodness, because they did.
They have zero rights. And, I paid the taxes for the last 7 years. Have a nice day. It's not your home.
Let's talk about the squat. Let me explain what that is really quick for the person listening, and then I'll have you elaborate on it. Let's say property was empty, right? For whatever reason, the person vacated, deceased, whatever it was.
It's usually deceased.
Somebody would show up, change the locks, get in some way, somehow, and then they're in there. And a lot of times what we see on our side is a renter scams, like where it's listed for rent.
Yep.
They go in, somehow gain access to it with the keys, and then they propose like the prospective landlord. And then basically people were moving in. Well, when people were already in there, if the sheriff showed up and someone, let's say it was my home, and I said, well, you're not authorized to be here. I don't know you. I didn't rent to you. My property manager didn't help you, or I didn't sign a lease with you. The sheriff would show up and say, I'm sorry, it's a civil matter. I can't help you. You're going to have to go through the eviction process to this unknown person and wait several months and pay a lot of money in attorney's fees to get them out.
Well, and if I may, the person who's renting that has no idea. Because they're renting it from someone else who pretended to be the owner of that house.
Yep.
And so the tenants now have paid first, last, and who knows what else. And now the sheriff's come to the house and said, you can't live here. This is not. And they're saying, wait a minute, we just paid the landlord all this money to live in here. It becomes a mess.
Yep. So do you guys know what all went into the statute that they changed?
I don't know exactly. They did a great job. Governor DeSantis wanted it. He signed it right away. And it pretty much, it took away the civil action that you just described.
To require.
And it allows the sheriff's office, law enforcement, to actually remove that person from the home if the owner of the home says, there's no contract between them. There's no landlord to tenant contract. They just moved into my home. One of the things that we have found, and let's say, for instance, nephew Jim in New York inherited a home from Aunt Susie in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nephew Jim is working on the probate, but is failing to pay the property taxes.
It's a big deal.
So somebody now sees that the property taxes haven't been paid for several years. Oh, this person must be deceased. And now they can find out if they're deceased by looking to see maybe at the clerk's office if a death certificate was filed. So that's where they will tell someone, go and claim that house. That's what they used to do. And that's why we tell people, if you're inheriting a home, make sure the taxes are paid.
Yes.
Because that's what gives away the possibility of somebody of going in there and living, thinking, well, this person's passed away. No one's paying the taxes. Nobody cares about this home.
Right. And after 3 years, someone can actually state claim to your home if they paid the taxes on it.
It's actually longer than 3 years.
Is it longer than 3?
I think it's 7 years.
I thought it was 3.
No, they have to show proof.
That's the adverse possession piece
That's
of that.
the adverse possession. Yeah,
I got the law here if you get a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
So there's 4 parts to the new law enacted in June is when Governor DeSantis of 25. It expedites the removal of unauthorized individuals occupying commercial properties, providing property owners with a streamlined process to regain possession of their property, number 1. Number 2, safeguards property owners from potential financial losses and property damage due to squatters. Number 3, provides legal safeguards for both property owners and law enforcement, outlining liabilities and protection in cases of wrongful removal.
There you go.
And then 4 is where the teeth is. It introduces specific criminal penalties for unauthorized occupancy and fraudulent property listings, aiming to stop bad actors from teaching or encouraging others to squat.
And if I may, what Tim just talked about teaching, we found this out, didn't we, Tim?
We did.
There was a guy or
Adverse
a gal.
possession.
It was a gal. Boy, I let her have it on the phone that one day. She would charge people, many of them who didn't speak English, right?
It was
Tim?
largely Hispanic community.
Largely Hispanic, innocent people. They would pay a large amount of money to this person of teaching them how to take possession of a home. But they didn't realize is just by paying the property taxes that you didn't own the home.
Right.
You're actually doing the prior owner or the future owner who inherited this home a favor. And they thought by paying the property taxes, they can go live in this home. How many people did we find who spoke very little or no English who got taken advantage of by this person telling them,
collecting a fee to teach them something.
Teach them something that didn't help them because they would go pay the property taxes and think they can go live in the home. And they, I mean,
it was so bad, Katrina.
I can't refund them that property taxes because once property taxes are paid, I don't keep them. They go to different taxing districts.
Yeah, it was so bad, Katrina, that we had to put a policy in all of our offices. Now, we see 50 or 60,000 people a month in our office. We had to put in a policy that if anybody tries to come in and do any adverse possession action, we had to be notified.
Yeah.
So then we could then get the property appraiser involved so we could start raising awareness that,
Are they trying to do that at your office?
No, they did years ago.
So they were trying to prove that they paid, right? They tried to prove they paid the property taxes so they'd come in and get those printed from us and then walk next door and try to start the adverse possession process.
Oh.
But these people weren't malicious many times.
No.
They were just trying to learn from this other person, thought, I was going to get a home at a discount.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
And that's
but luckily,
why
we haven't seen that in years.
that Tim just read is specific in talking about those who teach.
Good. I'm glad they added that tail end of that law.
Because I spoke to this one gal, and she had the people who spoke no English at all, and I just let her have it. I said, you convinced these people, you took money from them, and you told them to go pay the taxes and they won't own the home? I said, you're a fraud. What you did was you not only collected money from these people, but you told them something that there's no way they're going to own this home, and I couldn't refund anybody. Yeah. I will say one of the people who inherited the home did give back some of the money in their last tax payments, I think. Okay. Because people paid like 2 or 3 years, and he gave them the money back.
That was good.
That was nice of him.
Yeah,
yes.
very.
Yeah. There's some good people
out
there.
But we've seen, since that law has passed, I don't think we've seen any adverse possession situations.
Yeah, because we put in a process, too, to stop it, work with the property appraiser.
So
none of them are legit.
The low-hanging scammer fruit, right, is to basically try and rent it, try to collect an application fee, a month's rent or whatever they're trying to collect.
Yeah.
And a lot of times say, I'm working out of town, the keys in the mat or the backslider's open or something like that.
Yeah.
No one's going to leave their property open.
No.
Like that.
But I would, and that's why it's good. And we spoke about this in your our last session we were here about where the property appraiser no longer puts if the person is deceased.
Yes.
On their websites, because that's where the adverse possession. Those who are trying to possess a home would have difficulty now. But before they would say, the person's deceased, a couple of years of taxes, I'll pay them, I'll go move in.
Yeah, that's good. Those little details are such a big difference between major things happening to families or not. What other kind of scams are you guys seeing? Anything you can think of off the cuff?
I'll just say the two things. Go ahead.
We're seeing a lot of fraud in title work.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Go ahead, Timothy, please.
Well, so the title work stuff, the general rule of thumb is that if you've lost your title or you think you've lost your title, make sure you go get one reprinted. Don't let it just hang out there, because the reprinted title now is going to replace the other one. The other one's
Are
going
you
to
talking about on a mobile home?
So
Any
either
type,
a mobile home,
vehicle, mobile home,
motorcycle,
scooter,
motor vehicle,
boat,
whatever is titled. Could be a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
A trailer that's heavy enough. And we just want to make sure people understand that, because one of the provisions we put in, and this was maybe a year or two ago, we just saw kind of some funny business going on. There is a lot of title fraud in the state of Florida.
big time.
What we required people to do is to actually get the seller, because the buyer would just come in with a signed over title. And what we had found sometimes that title wasn't legit. And so we were running into problems with that. And
That it was just a fake signature or whatever.
No,
Correct.
or what it was. Let's say, for instance, the person who sold you the car gives you a title. That person who owned the car in their name goes and gets another a replacement title. I lost my title. Can I get a? Sure, we'll print it, because the person he sold the car to hasn't turned it into their name.
Oh.
Now that person comes into our office. I want to transfer it in my name. Sorry, this title is worthless, because the person who owned the car went and got another title. We have people. I was gatekeeping one day, and there were two young people, sweet young people, that came in, and they had bought a motorhome, one that you put on the back of your car, $30,000 from another person. No problem. He shows me the bill of sale. One of the first things we ask is, where's the title? What do you mean, where's the title? You need the title for us to transfer. We have to have the title to transfer it. Well, this is all what the owner gave me. It's worthless, that bill of sale. The title is the key.
You got to have
Make
both.
sure you have the title.
You don't have to have
No bill of sale?
You don't really have to have a bill of sale. If
It
the
helps
title
in
is
certain
if the title is
situations, but-
completely filled out correctly, we do recommend to have both. But if the title is filled out by the seller correctly and properly and all of that good stuff, you don't really. But they were devastated. They had paid $30,000 for a motor home hooked up to their car that they will never possibly be able to get. I said, well, you can get in touch with this guy. Well, we bought it from him in Orlando. Who knows where this guy is now? $30,000. We see that happen a lot when people come in. I want to transfer this car into my name. Just bought it. Where's the title? Oh, no, I have this form. They said this form is sufficient. No, the title. Never, 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 people, never give money to a person that's not going to hand you a title.
Yeah.
And what we call it is a clean title.
Meet at the DMV.
Yeah.
Do the exchange there.
I suggest
Absolutely.
that.
Meet at your office.
And don't insult us. We're not the
Sorry.
DMV. We're the
Sorry.
tax collector's
I know.
office.
It's just a habit. Sorry. Meet at the tax collector's
Well, you're
office.
coming to the tax collector's office to do a DMV transaction.
There you go. Thank
There
you, Tim.
go. There you
Thank
go.
you.
But please, I think Katrina's correct. If you can meet him at the tax collector's office and we do the transaction right there. So if there is a problem, we'll find out immediately.
And fix
Yep.
it.
But at least make sure. I mean, if you know the person pretty well, it doesn't matter. Get that title.
Yes.
Otherwise,
And
you're
then
going to
go
have to go back
quickly.
to that person. He's going to have to get the title and
Yes.
sign
It's a
it
big
over
deal
to
and
you.
it's a lot of money. And when you think about $30,000,
Absolutely.
especially in this economy with inflation the way it is,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
probably
gosh.
they needed to live there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was his
a
young
big
couple.
deal.
I felt so bad for him. But we see this happen often. Again, sometimes
So now they have this trailer or whatever it is.
but they can't do anything with
It's
it.
probably stolen, so they
Yeah.
have it, but they don't have really
don't have
a
a
title
title.
on it,
Yeah.
which means
Yep.
they can't get a tag
They
for
can
it or
never.
whatever
They
else.
can never do anything with it. Never. They can't sell it. They can't do anything. One of the other things though is sometimes the owner will say to the buyer, "Oh, the title is electronic. The tax collector has the title." That's great. So the purchaser will come in. "Oh, you have the title." That's great. But I can't print you that title.
Right.
The owner has to
You're
come
not the
in.
owner.
The owner has to come in and get that title and sign it over to you. So
So the bill of sale alone won't work for them.
no. That's what they hand us. And I feel badly. We feel badly, but we say we need more than that. Sometimes people get upset, start banging the
We
table.
gotta tell them anybody could print this. Would you want me to transfer your car
I know.
with this?
I know. I know.
And, if you change the perspective, they might
And
change your opinion.
One of the things that we did to prevent some of this too in our office as well is we're requiring to get an actual picture of that person, that seller's driver license.
Yes.
And so that was huge because we were getting some of this stuff and keep in mind, they could do all these transactions without even a notary, oftentimes with a power of attorney.
Right.
So we were having some issues there too in the state of Florida when you transfer a motor vehicle or anything with a title. You don't need a power of attorney a notary on that power of attorney form.
I'm gonna tell you,
which is wild. So we said, okay, we got to at least get a driver license photo here of who sold you this.
Yeah. We require, I think we're the only tax collector office in the state. You can come in and we can provide you with a form which is called a power of attorney. Power of attorney is completed by the seller or the owner, not the seller, but the owner of the vehicle, giving that person power of attorney to transfer it in their name, get a title printed. We require now, because that power of attorney, that POA, surprisingly, the state used to require that many, many years ago to be notarized, not any longer.
That's bizarre.
So what we do, as Tim pointed, what we do is on that form, we tell them the owner can fill this form out, giving you POA, but they also have to provide you with a copy of their driver's license, because we will look at that driver's license, compare the signature on that POA, since the state no longer requires a notary, which is crazy. A notary should be guaranteeing those signatures.
Right. Well, they fake that too. They fake some of the notary seals and signatures and all that.
I know.
So let's talk about another thing too, like homestead fraud.
Yes.
So people a lot of times have their homestead.
We see these every
and then
year.
they move out, right?
Move out is not moving out. We have people in this state that are getting homesteaded in 2 states.
Oh, yeah. Whew. So what do you guys do about that?
Well, we don't do it. That's the property appraiser. Property appraiser, their office is outstanding here in Pasco. They do an excellent job in sniffing out these individuals who are getting homestead that should not be getting homestead. Yeah. And there's many reasons why they shouldn't be getting it. They probably aren't living in the home permanently. They're getting homestead in another state. Their driver license is in another state.
They rent it out.
And they're renting it out. Let me tell you, you don't want to get caught.
You don't. Penalty
and I'm
is
unbelievable. Tell you, the penalty is huge.
So let's talk about that.
The interest
rate.
So
do they have to pay the past taxes? What's their penalty?
They're going to pay not only the past taxes, but penalty on top of that. Huge penalties, plus 12% interest.
Wow. On the money due.
12% interest each year on the money that's due.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, we've seen ones that are upwards of $20,000.
That's what the penalty is. Wow.
No, like the whole bit, like out the door,
because
they go back in time 5 years, saying you shouldn't have gotten homesteads, for 5 years. So we're going to go back all 5 years. We're going to compound all the penalties, and then they send it over to us for what we do, which is collecting those taxes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Well, what happens though is we are required by law to put a lien on that property.
Oh boy.
So that home ever gets sold, the taxpayers are going to get their money. Yeah. And we had one guy who was living in a condominium in Clearwater, getting homestead, and had a homestead in the Trinity area. And he told the property appraiser, "Oh no, I made him no, $30-some-odd thousand he owed.
Killer.
30-some-odd thousand. He had to come up with the money. I will tell you, that is the most expensive thing to do, is to commit a homestead fraud in the state of Florida.
Well, I'm glad I mentioned it and brought it up so that people can be aware of it, because it sounds simple, but
and there's other situations too, and some of these are you kind of feel bad for these people, to be honest with you, because if somebody gets hit like last year, you get hit with a hurricane, right? Mm-hmm. You have homestead on this home that now needs to be renovated, right? But you got to be in your home in order to receive the homestead. So sometimes the person's not in the home, they've now bought something else, didn't transfer the homestead, that is also considered homestead fraud, even though you're in the middle of a renovation.
So if they weren't able to live in it, that's considered homestead fraud? Wow.
Yes, so we've run into a couple of those that are like, hey, we really need to make sure we get the word out that people, if you're going to go buy another home, get that homestead off the one that you need to fix and renovate, put it on this one, because then you can always transfer it back.
A lot of people don't realize that homestead goes with the person.
Right.
It doesn't go with the a lot of people thought, well, ma'am, you're not getting homestead. Well, I thought it was going to be automatically transferred over.
Yeah.
No. Homestead goes with is at the property. When you move, you have to then file for a homestead again. A lot of people don't realize there's no automatic transfer of homestead. You need to file every time you buy another home. If in Florida, of course, don't think it's going to be automatically transferred. And we've seen many cases where they thought that the homestead was going to be transferred.
We've seen that too. And it's the amount of people that don't file too is bizarre.
I will give our realtors and our title companies a great credit here that they do their best to tell that homeowner, you need to go to the property appraiser's office and file for a homestead.
We send them the links.
You send them the links. Very nice.
Good for you. Yeah, that's great.
And remember, if you bought a home prior to January 1st, so if you bought a home tomorrow or prior to tomorrow, you can get homestead this year if you file by March 1st of next year.
Yeah. So the end of the year before, file by March 1st the following year to get homestead for that year in arrears. Taxes are paid in arrears for the year that's already passed.
We're one of the few states in the country where property taxes are paid in arrears.
Why are we backwards in Florida?
Well, we're very nice. We're very nice.
Yeah. Where it gets dicey, too, is some of the things on that tax bill you actually pay ahead. Some you pay behind.
Wow.
Oh, my word. It's like good luck with your title companies.
That's going to be your non-ad valorem assessments. Mostly your CDDs, your community development districts, are paid in advance. And that's where the title company, most of the title companies know which CDDs where they're paying either. I've never seen one that's paying in arrears. They're all paying in advance.
Can you imagine how crazy that would be to actually fix that or change that to where it's paid in advance versus?
I don't want to touch that. I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I bet.
We don't even. Years ago, on the tax notices, they would put the date of what you're paying for. We took that off because a lot of non-ad valorem would change it every once in a while. That it went from arrears to and so we said no more. We put the phone number next to each of the taxing districts.
Way better plan.
Yeah. And call them up and find out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the smartest thing ever to put that in there because a lot of people have questions about stuff and they don't know where to find it. So I'm so glad it's on the tax bill.
Well, I think it's not the smartest thing. I think the smartest thing that we've done so far is put on the tax bill, tax collector does not decide what your taxes are.
Go talk to Mike Wells.
We started that this year because the tax notices will go out, 300,000 of them.
Yeah.
The phone calls. I had people pretty much want to hang me. I will never vote for you again. I'm going to do everything I can to. Why did you raise my taxes? And I call them back and explain to them. Then they understand, we are, sadly,
you're just the messenger.
We're the messenger.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other little fraud things we should talk about? Are you seeing the solar stuff and the pay stuff? Is that all like
it's kind of calmed down?
I'm going to button that up in Pasco. Yeah, that's been good. The one tip I will give the listeners is if you have questions about the validity of your driver license, just go to flhsmv.gov. They have a spot in there where you can check your driver license, see if there's anything going on with it, if there's a suspension or anything on there.
What's that site again, Tim?
flhsmv.gov.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're going to see it right there, Florida Department of Highway Safety or Motor Vehicle. Yep. One of the tabs you're going to be able to go down, do your driver license.
And they're going to ask you personal information that only you're going to be knowing what that is.
Yep, and that's a huge benefit, right? Because people get these scams. People, your driver license is going to be suspended, and you don't need to worry about that. Just do a quick check if you're worried about it in any way, shape, or form, and then you can move on.
I would highly recommend what Tim just gave is perfect. And sometimes people will come in and say, I was pulled over by a law enforcement officer and they're telling me my driver's license is suspended. Now, a letter from the state is supposed to go out to that person giving them so many days that your license is going to be suspended. Unfortunately, sometimes people think that's junk mail and they tear it up. And sometimes it never gets to the person because they've moved and they didn't change their address on their driver's license. And so I would recommend, as Tim pointed out, don't be afraid to go to this website maybe once a year, or maybe every couple of years. Check your driver's license. Make sure everything is legit, especially if you're going to change insurance companies.
Oh, that's exactly what happened to my buddy.
If you're changing your insurance company, sometimes two ships are passing in the night, and maybe just for a day,
Get a lapse.
It elapses.
Oh, it's killer.
And if you don't show proof that you had insurance on that day, you could have your license suspended.
Wow.
Yeah.
And reinstatement's $156.25 if it's your first time.
Right.
Oof.
So you get hit with an insurance suspension and reinstatement. Having it, my buddy moved. He moved out to go work at a church in, I think he's in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And so he texted me the other day, said I was trying to rent a car, and when I went to go in and rent a car, they said my Florida license is suspended. And so the first thing I asked him, I said, "Did you take your Florida insurance off your vehicle?" He goes, "Yeah, I did."
Yep.
I said, "You're doomed."
Please remember.
I said, "I can help you, but you're going to have to get Florida insurance back, or you're going to have to wait to get everything transferred over to Arkansas." And he's in it now.
Let me tell, happens a lot. First of all, as you know, if you have a car registered in the state of Florida, you must by law have Florida, not any other state, not I have insurance. Florida insurance must be on that car if it's registered in Florida. There's an exception for our military men and women. If they're living out of state, all they have to do is send us their orders and proof of the insurance they have. It doesn't have to be Florida. Their orders and proof of Florida of Arkansas insurance, New York insurance. We don't care as long as they can send that to us with your orders. And there's a form that we can send them where your commanding officer will sign off as well. And we'll put it in the system so your license won't be suspended. That's key, okay? Also, if you're going to leave Florida, Tim just brought it up. If you're going to leave Florida and you decide to transfer the car, you're moving out to Arkansas, but you're leaving the plate on the car as a Florida plate, please don't remove the Florida insurance now that you're living in Arkansas.
It's got to match, right?
Yes.
It does, correct.
And we get people that are calling, why is my license suspended? You took Florida insurance off the car. You decided maybe you're only living temporarily in Arkansas, that's fine. But you still have a Florida plate and registered in Florida insurance.
Just leave it alone.
Yes.
Until you switch everything over.
If you're going to switch it, switch the whole thing over, you know? But look, let's realize Florida insurance is astronomical.
It's so expensive.
And, you know, when I speak, and I could imagine you have children, I don't, but when I speak to some of my employees who have young teenagers getting their license, they're telling me their insurance premiums are thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Every 6 months, thousands of dollars every 6 months. How do you afford that? It's unacceptable.
Well, and I know when my kids turned 18, I made them go get on their own insurance.
There you go.
I did. And my son
self-sufficiency.
totaled 3 cars.
You paid before they turned 18.
I did a little bit, but we had a pack. There's any tickets or accidents, they lost their license till they're 18.
There you go.
It's funny you say that. I was.
You don't remember me turning in my son's driver's license?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was someone else.
I remember that.
No,
you do remember that?
You called me.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, and you said, "Tim,
good for you, Ma. Good for you."
He got pulled over driving over 100 miles an hour on the
gosh.
Veterans.
You did tell me.
Oh my gosh.
It was a Hillsborough County sheriff called me and I said, "I'll be right there."
That was nice of the sheriff deputy.
Took my other daughter
you.
with me and I said, "Where's your driver's license?" He's like, "The cop has it." I'm like, "Where's his license?" It's going straight to the DMV, and I made him wait till he was 18 to get his license again.
We've had that happen. Now I had a father come in not because of his son being bad. It's because I said everything already. He said I got the insurance bill.
And he can't afford to pay it.
Couldn't afford to pay it,
Yeah.
so he had to surrender the license. I felt so sorry for the boy. Yeah. Nothing you can do.
Well, there's another whole group of kids that doesn't even want to drive. They just Uber everywhere.
Oh, we
they don't
can
even
talk
care
about that all day. We'll see some people
18.
come in. You're 20 what?
You're just getting your license.
I've had people come in there in their 30s, for goodness sakes.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's wild. Listen, when I turned 16 years old, I couldn't wait.
Ready.
My sister drove me down, and it was a DMV back then in Tarpon Springs to get my license. Today, it's like kids really don't care.
Well, they can on demand everything.
Yeah. Uber.
Yeah.
Or mom or dad,
or mom or dad,
a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I mean, it's the bottom line is they got friends who will drive them everywhere.
Or electric scooters. No,
electric scooters. Yeah.
So much of that. Any other scams you guys are seeing we should chat about before we put a bow on this episode?
Man,
we covered a lot.
Yeah. Did cover a lot.
We did.
I would just encourage people, go to the clerk's website, sign up for fraud alerts.
Fraud alerts, yes.
That is key. And it's free. I would recommend go with the website Tim gave out. to check on your license every once in a while. You know, don't wait until a law enforcement officer pulls you over, especially those who have recently changed their insurance company. Those two things I would highly recommend.
Well, I know some of the stuff we talked about was a little bit outside of what you guys do, but you guys see it on your side. So I appreciate you talking about it so we can get the PSA out there for people aware of it.
Yeah.
Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. If you have any questions, you need some real estate help, 813-377-2775. You can call or text. We're happy to help. And I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Love where you live, or we're going to fix it.
There it is.
Welcome home. There you go.
Thank you very much.